Hello everyone, and I am Liz and I'm the farm manager at Freightliners Farm, and today I am going to show you how to make a beeswax candle with the candle wax that we have been giving out at the farm as packs for the half-term holiday. So in your pack that you've picked up you should have these things. So there's a bit of candle wick, which is a piece of cotton string that's quite tightly woven, and that's what makes your candle burn. There is a bit of ribbon, that's to decorate your candle with, and a piece of beeswax. So this is beeswax that has been pressed into shape, so it has the hexagon shapes on it that bees use to make their hives, to seal their honey in the cells in their hives. But it's been made by melting down the beeswax from the beehive, pressing it into a big block and then making these little hexagon shapes, copying what the bees do, so that it looks like beeswax from a beehive. And you can, if you smell it, it smells a little bit of honey and a little bit of, I guess, plasticky, because wax is a bit plasticky. And it is quite flexible, so it bends. And the warmer you make it, so you can warm it between your hands, the warmer you make it, the more able it is to bend. So I'm just going to warm this up to start off with, because we want to bend it quite a lot to make our candle. Warm it all the way down the length. You could, even at home, just gently sit it, not on the radiator, hold it gently over the radiator and it will warm it up a little bit, and you'll see it gets more flexible. Warm it up all the way down. My hands are quite hot because I'm used to working outside. There we go, so now it's a little bit more bending. I can bend it without it breaking. I don't want to bend it too much because it will break eventually. And then I'm going to take my wick and put it at the end of the piece of wax. So you can see your piece of wax is sloping, so it has a wide end and a narrow end, and it slopes downwards. I'm going to put the wick across the wide end. Bring it down here, and put the wick across the wide end. I'm going to leave part of it sticking out. And then the first step I'm going to do is very, very gently fold the end of the wax around the wick. And I want to do this quite tightly. This is really important. This step, taking this slowly and carefully, is quite important. At this point, it doesn't matter if it breaks a little bit. I can seal it back up. But I want it to be quite tight round the wick, and I'm warming that wax up with my fingers as I go, helping to melt it together. So if little ones are doing this, this bit might need a bit of help from an adult just to get it nice and tight, because starting it off well makes the next bit much easier. So eventually I should have bits of string through the middle of just a thin, narrow strip, really tightly round the bit of string. And that then sets me up for the next bit. And for the next bit, I'm going to start rolling it. I'm going to roll it very slowly, warming it up with my fingers and keeping it straight down the non-sloping edge, and it's going to start to roll down on its sloping edge. So very slowly warming it up so that it sticks together, and using a little bit of pressure to hold it down and keep it moving. Keep it sticking together. If it looks like it's going a bit wonky off the bottom, I'll try and straighten it up a little bit. Nice and slowly, warming it up. And you can see now the top end is starting to spiral down and the bottom end stays flat. going. And as it gets bigger, it gets a little bit easier, but you still want to go slowly because you want to make sure that it sticks all the way. If you go too fast, you haven't warmed it up enough and it won't stick together. I'm putting a little bit of pressure on it to press it in, not squeezing it too tight though. Keep going down, you can see spiralling down at the top and level on the bottom. If it goes slightly wonky, doesn't matter too much. If it goes completely wonky, you can unroll it and start again. And then, still warming up, when you get to the end, to keep it tightly rolled up, keep warming it and sticking it down, and then you have the edge that you want to seal, and the way you seal it is by melting it with the heat from your hand and a bit of pressure to stick it to the bit underneath. Nicely melted all the way along there. If your hands are not warm enough, again you can pop it and do the same thing over the top of a warm radiator or heater. So then I should have a nice sealed line all the way down. And I can hold it in my hands to warm up that last outside bit just to make sure that it's stuck all the way around and that is sealed up. And press it down on the table a little bit. So if it was slightly uneven on the bottom, I can melt it down a little bit so that it stands up. And then the last little bit, because I don't want this big wick sticking out, so pair of scissors and chop the end off them. And if there was a little bit of wick, sometimes there's a little bit of wick sticking out the bottom, and chop that off as well. Okay, that is the finished candle. We don't need to do any more to it, but you can decorate it. So I'm just going to tie a nice ribbon around it. Into a bow. And because I've got curling ribbon in mine, some have different types of ribbon. I've got curling ribbon. I'm going to use the end of the scissors to curl the end of the ribbon. Run it down the edge. My finished candle. So that ribbon is decoration. If I wanted to sit it on the side and have it as a decorative candle, I could do that. If I want to light it, and I can light it and burn it as a candle, I need to take all the extra bits off because this will catch fire. And if you are a young person or a smaller person, make sure you've got an adult with you to light your candle. You need to put it on a solid base, so like a little saucer or a candle holder to stop it catching fire on the floor, and you must always stay with it while it's alight. If you're going out of the room or you're going away, blow it out and light it again later. And then the last bit of we've got in our packs is a bit of tissue paper, and this is just so that if you want to give it to someone as a present, you can wrap it up. So wrap it up and put it along the handle, roll it up, and you can make it into a little cracker. And then you've got a lovely gift, handmade gift for someone